Coming to you live from the White Picket Studios in Houston, Texas, this is the Realty Ruckus. If you are in any way, shape, or form involved in the real estate industry, this is the show for you. And now, your host, Alan Hernandez.
Good morning, Houston. Welcome to the Realty Ruckus out of the White Picket Realty Studios. We are excited to be here today. Sitting next to me is David Bonilla and co-producer Jabron Hernandez, a.k.a. BB, a.k.a. Pablo Escobar.
With that mustache, you must call him Gibran.
He is Gibran Hernandez.
I've earned my Latin American, okay?
Yes, you have.
I went to Ross yesterday, and I clearly spoke English to the lady first. I said, "Excuse me, can you help me?" And she looks back at me and then just Spanish, 100%. Sí, señor, ¿cómo le puedo ayudar? I was like, oh, God, I've stepped into a new era.
People just randomly walk up to BB and ask him for drugs and stuff. He just looks like he's part of the cartel.
Right.
Look at this guy.
Excuse me, mister, you have a drugs?
Anyway, guys, we have a great show planned out for you today. Don't forget that you can drop all of your questions, comments, concerns, trolling, you name it, anything you want to talk about. Make sure that you drop it down below into the comments. We're here to help you grow your businesses.
He invited the trolls.
We invited the trolls. We welcome trolls. We love trolls around here. So trolls need love too, you know.
A troll can't troll a troll. That's all I'm going to say.
Wait, whoa. Are you calling me a troll, bro?
No, what?
Is that what you're saying?
I've never said something like that.
Hey, you know what? I got to tell you guys something. This Saturday, I was part of another radio show. Did you guys know that?
You cheated on us.
I totally cheated on you guys. It was.
We were really hurt by that.
I gotta tell you, I totally cheated on you guys, and it was awesome.
With 3 other guys.
I enjoyed it a lot, actually.
Oh, I watched part of it, and you did really well on there. And their show is pretty cool. What's it called again?
Man, they have a great show. It's called the Real Estate Rat Pack, and it's really cool. It's an agent broker, guy that's been around, for a while. He's in his 60s, been in the real estate business for, 30 plus years, knows, the ins and outs of it. And a loan officer, same deal, knows his stuff, knows everything. And then an insurance guy. So we have Rob, Chris Kelso, Rob Cook, Chris Kelso, and Tim, the insurance guy from Farmers, and they make a phenomenal show. I got to tell you, I was really impressed. I think I got a chance to learn a few things.
That's awesome, man.
I got a chance to learn a few things about how to do a cool show, because I think these guys have a couple of neat tricks up their sleeve. And it's Tim O'Neill, correct?
Tim O'Neill with
Chris
State Farm.
Kelso and Rob Cook. So first off, I want to thank you guys. If you guys are watching, so much for having me on the show. That was a phenomenal experience. I got to tell you what, the best part about the show, not of course, that was me talking, right? No, I'm just kidding. No. The best part about the show was like afterwards, we got a chance to hang out. We went to Chris's office, which is, man, this guy's got the coolest setup. So as you walk into the office, he made like a little bar area. So instead of a reception desk, it's a bar.
We've talked about that. What kind of bar?
We've been trying to do this.
Is it a coffee bar or a bar?
It's a coffee bar.
Okay,
it's a coffee / like total drinking bar, man. These guys got like every bottle you can imagine, and so they sit there and whip up omelets. Do
we need to send Elizabeth to barista school?
You guys, I'm telling you.
Hey, I know how to make them.
The first thing I told Chris
I'm a
was,
teacher. I'm not gonna make
we have to go. Like I have to bring my crew here because I want them to see like what it's like here, because we want to do the same thing. And I'm telling you, they had like the little fridges full of beer, and then Chris is making omelets. We have someone else making Bloody Marys. We have someone else making what do they call the orange juice and mimosas. Mimosas.
Oh yeah, champagne.
And an hour or two later,
David was thinking about screwdrivers.
Yes, I was going harder.
No, it was good, man. We got a chance to just throw some information back and forth on what's working, what's not working, and that's actually one of the things we want to talk about in today's show is what things are working out there, not just for you individually, but for brokerages as a whole, for businesses as a whole. How is technology changing things as a whole? And these are all things that we discussed on a really close personal level. And I got a chance to really listen to some people who are way up there in their careers, doing phenomenal business, and get some inside scoop on their thoughts, their inner thoughts on where all of this is going. And I got to tell you, it's exciting. It's exciting to know that we have a lot of changes coming, and if you are
if you're just a listener of the show, you've heard us talk about it all the time.
Yeah.
I mean, it's something that we are very aware of. Is this industry's changing?
You know what was cool about the whole thing is I'm sitting there talking to these guys, and these guys are so much more experienced than I got a chance to actually do some listening and less talking, right? And the first thing I thought about was we're on the right track, and we are definitely we're definitely on the cutting edge of technology, and understand that technology is changing, and therefore we have to change as a business. So it was really cool to see that and feel that, and then get their perspective on it. We got to take a quick break, but when we get back, we got to talk to you guys about a world with no cashiers, no lines.
Dun, dun, dun.
What happens?
Bum, bum,
Where do we go from there? I don't
bum.
even know. Anyway, we're gonna take a quick break. We'll be right back. Stay tuned.
Hi, this is Manuel Mata, chairman of the Houston Alumni Network of Sigma Lambda Beta, and I'd like to personally invite you to our annual teen gift drive, benefiting Navidad en el Barrio on Friday, December 9th at Lucky's Pub in downtown from 6 to 9. Join us for a night of networking, fun, and giving back to our community as we collect gifts for some very deserving Houston area teens. Remember, December 9th, Lucky's Pub downtown on San Emanuel, and I'll see you there.
Hey everyone, this is David over at White Picket Realty, and I wanted to tell you about my friends over at Plans Express who can save you the headache of running your own permits. These guys are committed to offering a one-stop solution for all your plan and permit needs. They're proudly serving their friends and neighbors in the Houston surrounding areas, and they offer great service at an exceptional value. With dedicated professionals ready to serve, contact them today at 832-675-6217.
What do you love about White Picket?
I love that we work together as a team.
I love being professional while having fun.
I love the innovative approach we take every day.
I love the support we get to grow our business.
We love White Picket.
And I love empowering the next generation of realtors to live life by their own design. If you're looking to grow, come grow with us. Email join@teamwpr.com. Again, that's join@teamwpr.com.
Stop searching and start staying in the know with our Houston Real Estate Events page on Facebook. Follow us by searching at Houston Real Estate Events to stay up to date on the latest events for real estate in the Houston area. If you are interested in having your event on our page, please email me at david@whitepicketrealty.com. Again, that's david@whitepicketrealty.com. Non-paid events only. One more time, find us on Facebook at Houston Real Estate Events, and we'll see y'all at the next one.
And we are back on Realty Ruckus. Remember that you can catch us live on Facebook and YouTube. And if you comment with us during the show, we can chat with you live on the air. Right now, David, how's the weather out there?
Well, guys, first of all, I wanted to give a shout out to the Rat Pack. You can listen to them live Saturday mornings at 9 a.m. on 100.7. That's KKHT.
0.7.
Yeah, definitely check those guys out. It was a really informative show, and they have a lot of really good guests on there. And not only did I get a chance to learn a lot, but I think anyone that listens to it gets a chance to take part in that.
Yeah,
part
absolutely.
in that knowledge. So,
But did we get the weather?
Yeah, so
Okay.
today, Alan was going off on a rant. Thank you for bringing him off of it.
Thank you.
So today we have a nice high of 71, so it's going to feel great outside. It's going to be mostly
nice.
sunny. And tonight it's going to be a low of 50, and it's going to stay pretty much the same throughout the week. We may have some rain later in the week, but I don't think anything like we experienced this past weekend. And then Friday, supposedly, the real wintry stuff is supposed to hit us.
Nice.
I'm ready for winter.
Hey, man, I love winter. I don't know about you guys, but like this gives you a chance to grow out beards and mustaches. And
We see
hair.
you taking full advantage of that. By the way, we have to have a conversation about your perm. You promised us a perm last week.
Yes.
And you guys don't know this, but a day ago he handed me my $20 back. And
And he
I
kept
thought I-
Ashley Patton's?
I thought he kept Ashley's $20, but he gave me mine back and he said he wasn't going to do it. And I didn't say anything. I didn't say anything, but I
That's
thought I would
not
bring.
what I
I
said.
thought I would bring this up
That is
live
not
on
what
the
I
air,
said.
just because I wanted to see what he would actually have to say about this perm thing. 'cause
Let
he
the
did
record
promise.
show. Let the record show.
Go ahead and tell us what actually happened.
I said that I was reconsidering, but that I was going to give you your money back in the meantime, so
Yeah.
that you wouldn't say I was stealing your money. And then when Ashley
Like I
came
would
on
say that.
Friday, then we would decide, because I need to find a place that can do a perm for $40, because I went to Visible Changes, and that place was like $65 for a perm.
Yeah. Or as my mom used to call it, invisible
Oh,
changes.
invisible changes, yeah.
And she called them all one time and was like, "Hey, can I get the number to invisible changes?" And they're like, "Ma'am, we don't have that store
I
here."
do remember that. That's Latin moms right there.
What do you mean, invisible changes? I want to get a haircut.
That's hilarious.
Anyway, we were talking about, how technology is changing the industry. And of course, we see a lot of changes in the real estate industry, but it's kind of cool to see how other industries are changing as we speak. And Amazon.com just dropped a big batch of news on us, right?
Oh yeah, they just dropped a bomb on the industry.
I just didn't want to say the word bomb. I didn't know if it's allowed anymore. Like you can't even say it at the airport anymore, so I just try not to say it at all.
Don't even use it on the radio.
I just try not to use it, So they dropped one then, and they let us know that there's going to be a world out there here real soon, like this year, which not like 2016, like 2017.
We're already talking about 2017. I mean,
Yeah.
for all intents and purposes, we have 25 days left in December.
Yeah,
That's
we're
it.
done with 2016.
Yeah,
I hope
exactly.
you guys are wrapping up your 2016 as well, because I know we are. So 2017, we're going to see a new store come out.
Yeah,
right?
it's called Amazon Go.
Amazon Go. And there's going to be no cashiers.
That's right. There's no cashiers. There's no lines. So basically, I think they released this a couple days ago. And the technology is basically you're going to swipe your phone to enter the store, and it's going to basically log you into your Prime account. And any item that you pick up while you're shopping within the store is going to be automatically added to a digital shopping cart on your app. And basically, all you have to do is walk out, and your account is automatically charged.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I think that it's going to have a lot of kinks, but that's why they're rolling out only in certain test markets.
So
and that's
let
the
me
right
get this
thing
straight.
to
So
do.
you got the app, right? You got the app. And
On your
then
phone, yeah.
On the app, you load your credit card, kind of like the way Amazon works now.
Yeah, exactly. A lot of apps. That's nothing new there.
Yeah, and if you've used Amazon Now, I'm guessing it's very similar. I mean, Amazon Now is just they deliver it within like an hour if you want it.
Yeah. All right, so you walk into the store, you got your phone on you, you maybe say, okay, I'm getting ready to go shopping. You go to the store, you pick out everything you want.
Yeah, so like those subway turnstiles?
Yeah.
It's kind of like that. You walk through there, you swipe your phone, that tells the store, hey, I'm here, activate my account.
I'm shopping.
Yeah, and then it doesn't show the technology, and that's really my big question is, how does it know what items that you're picking up? I'm guessing it's going to use some type of RFID technology.
Yeah.
And then when you leave the store, it can tell that you've got all of those items on you, and it automatically charges
Maybe
you for
there's
them.
like a big laser beam on the exit. Yeah, like a big laser beam on the exit, and as you like walk out with your card, it just scans everything at once.
No, it's
something like that.
there's sensors. I think it has to do actually with the way it's because it's a smaller store. It's about 1,800 square feet of retail space, so it's a small convenience store type of place, kind of a
almost
small
like
grocery.
like a Walgreens.
Well, I mean, but you got to
Smaller than
remember,
that.
like
Yeah.
in other places, like here in Houston, we don't really have these kind of places. But you got to remember, there was like small Walmarts up north. And
Oh,
whenever
we
you
have one right down the street in my neighborhood. It's the neighborhood Walmart.
Okay, see, no. There's even smaller ones than that.
Okay.
There's Walmarts, and I think a lot of them closed down recently. But there used to be Walmarts that were the size of like CVS, and basically they carried only the most sold items. So the most popular items are the items that they carried there in the store. I'm guessing Amazon's kind of going to be the same. The items that get picked up a lot, they get ordered often, those are going to be the items that they have there. I don't think this is a solution for you to go buy like lettuce and tomatoes and things like that.
Yeah, because like one of the comments from one of our agents, Caesar, says, well, how are they going to keep people from stealing?
That very first thing that I said.
Like what happens to like the people that go in there and like grab a couple of grapes and just,
just run out with their
toss-
grapes.
No, I'm just saying like you eat while you shop, like or like maybe grab a bag of chips and then have a few chips before you get to the register. I mean,
I feel like Alan is admitting to, to eating while he shops.
Well, you've already picked it up. Therefore, it's already in your shopping cart.
It'll already be scanned into your shopping cart when you leave the store.
Exactly.
Got
As
it.
soon as you pick up an item, it's in your shopping cart. If you put it back, it leaves your shopping cart.
Yeah.
But if you have it on your person, you're basically
I think the
gonna be
most
charged for it.
impressive part of this whole thing is how are they going to keep track of this? Like, I'd love to know what the technology is going to be. How, like, are they going to know based on the weight of the item? Like when you take it off the shelf.
Right now, Walmart and everybody,
tracker?
they already know all the weights of every single item. You know, so I mean that's what we're talking about. Is that their technology is already going in that direction, but Walmart literally just dropped what's another word? Not we don't want to use that B word.
We don't want to use the B word.
Don't call it a B. But they dropped one, and now grocery stores out there. I mean, we were just talking about this. They're still updating like their POS systems. I went to a store the other day that still had like the big old like green and black screen.
Yeah.
Like from the early '90s, and I was like, wow. And they haven't updated that.
Where the cashiers have to remember the codes.
Yeah, and it's like, okay, grapes. Yeah, 104389.
I still remember the code for bananas because you know I
because you love bananas.
It's the most sold item. In a grocery
store. I did the cashier job when I was like 13 or 14.
Yeah.
By the way, I worked for a grocery store here in Houston that where the minimum wage was like $4 and they used to pay me like $3. They were horrible people. And I don't know why I did it. I think I was just bored. Anyway, we're going to take a quick commercial break. When we get back, we got to talk a whole lot about why people are investing almost 10% of their income in self-development. The pros, the cons. We're going to cover all that when we get back. Stay tuned.
Hi, this is Manuel Mata, chairman of the Houston Alumni Network of Sigma Lambda Beta, and I'd like to personally invite you to our annual teen gift drive, benefiting Navidad en el Barrio on Friday, December 9th at Lucky's Pub in downtown from 6 to 9. Join us for a night of networking, fun, and giving back to our community as we collect gifts for some very deserving Houston area teens. Remember, December 9th, Lucky's Pub downtown on San Emanuel, and I'll see you there.
Hey everyone, this is David over at White Picket Realty, and I wanted to tell you about my friends over at Plans Express who can save you the headache of running your own permits. These guys are committed to offering a one-stop solution for all your plan and permit needs. They're proudly serving their friends and neighbors in the Houston surrounding areas, and they offer great service at an exceptional value. With dedicated professionals ready to serve, contact them today at 832-675-6217.
What do you love about White Picket?
I love that we work together as a team.
I love being professional while having fun.
I love the innovative approach we take every day.
I love the support we get to grow our business.
We love White Picket.
And I love empowering the next generation of realtors to live life by their own design. If you're looking to grow, come grow with us. Email join@teamwpr.com. Again, that's join@teamwpr.com.
Stop searching and start staying in the know with our Houston Real Estate Events page on Facebook. Follow us by searching at Houston Real Estate Events to stay up to date on the latest events for real estate in the Houston area. If you are interested in having your event on our page, please email me at david@whitepicketrealty.com. Again, that's david@whitepicketrealty.com. Non-paid events only. One more time, find us on Facebook at Houston Real Estate Events, and we'll see y'all at the next one.
And we are back on Realty Ruckus. Remember that you can live tweet us at Realty Ruckus. You can also find us live on YouTube and Facebook, where if you chat with us, we will answer your questions live on the air. This is the Realty Ruckus with your host, Alan Hernandez, co-producer David Bonilla, and I am Gibran Hernandez. Now, right now, we were just having a conversation regarding Amazon Prime and the new Amazon Prime accounts and the way that Amazon Go is revolutionizing the shopping industry. And the thing here is, it's not only a revolution in shopping. This kind of thing, it starts to take away jobs.
Yep.
And we talked about this before with the $15 minimum wage. Companies that couldn't afford that were going to have to find ways to automate. I mean, this is like the next industrial revolution, essentially, as technology is now pushing away industry. This morning on C-SPAN, it was like everyone was going crazy talking about the Chinese markets and how they're pulling away from industry and they're pulling away from manufacturing. Even though that's like their biggest thing, because they know that that's not going to be that big going forward in the future. Yep. And so you look at a grocery store like Amazon Go and what they're doing, they've gotten rid of basically the majority of all the positions at a grocery store. You don't need cashiers anymore. You don't need baggers anymore.
You don't need a person to manage those cashiers and baggers.
Yeah, so
you need a stock boy, and that's it, I guess.
Yeah, you need someone to stock shelves, and you need someone. I'm guessing they're going to have somebody at the door.
There's
going to
be security.
That there's no
security.
theft. Yeah, security.
Yeah.
And that's about it. So now you've cut out 80% of the jobs at a grocery store. And what you have to remember is people always associate grocery stores with like, that's where my teenage kid works. That's where my kid who's coming home from college during the weekend, that's the little job that they get to earn extra money.
And there are those kids obviously there, but I come from the banking industry, and we had an in-store location at which I worked. And for the most part, the people that worked those type of jobs were elderly people, probably 60 plus.
Retirees.
Exactly. People that needed some extra money to make ends meet because they were getting paid $11 an hour or something like that.
Yeah, and it's not even that. I mean, we met one guy. He was a head executive at one of the biggest oil firms here in Houston that recently went down. I'm not going to name the names because I don't want you guys to figure it out, but we went to a retail store, a tennis store, Tennis Express, and we find this guy working there. And we're like, wait, why are you working here? He's like, well, I've applied at over 1,000 jobs. I'm overqualified for every single one, and nobody wants to give an old guy like me a shot to start over. So he was working the lowest position in retail. And so that shows you it's not only unqualified older people, it's just older people in general. They get pushed out of the jobs market, and that's kind of the jobs that they fall onto. So what happens when those jobs don't exist anymore?
What happens when technology pushes out the need for those people?
Absolutely.
That's absolutely right.
And that's when you start getting into things like what me and David have been talking about, where at some point the government has to step in and say, this is a minimum wage for living. There is no jobs. But here's some money so that you can support yourself, because there's not enough jobs out there. Automation has taken over all of those jobs.
And a much more near impact, and something obviously that would impact us as a brokerage, is how will those loss of jobs, or that, in economics you would kind of call it a correction period, where you're transitioning to the type of economy, that's going to have a huge impact on housing and who can afford housing. A lot of these people that you had in these jobs previously were more than likely renters or first-time home buyers, or were people that are maybe downsizing. So that's really going to affect the housing market as far as when we're going through that transition period.
Yeah, what people can afford is going to become huge.
With more technology coming into the market and taking out so many of the jobs that people are doing out there, we're going to have a decreasing size in the middle range of the population, the people that are making a median income.
Yeah, middle class.
The middle class is going to probably start shrinking more and more and more, and we're going to have we're going to get to a point where we have the poor and then the very, very rich.
Yeah, I do agree with that. I think you'll have the poor, you'll have a high middle class that live like very comfortably, and then you'll have your super rich, your top 3%.
Yeah, so to me that implies that we're going to see rising rental rates. And dropping home ownership rates, especially amongst people coming into the jobs market and those that have been displaced, like the older folks that we have talked about that, they've just been displaced or need to make ends meet.
Absolutely. Here in a little bit, we're going to talk about brokerage repositioning and how technology is actually affecting brokerages as well. And what that's doing to agents, what that's doing to brokerages. But before we get to that, I want to talk a little bit about why people are spending so much money in self-development. If you guys are okay with
no, absolutely, because I mean this is something that you can do if you're worried about, oh my God, where's my job? Where's my place in the marketplace here in the next 10 years? Because surprise guys, Amazon, this is next year. 10 years from now, grocery stores won't look anything like they do today.
That's right.
Grocery stores today don't look anything like they did 10 years ago.
That's right.
So
and what can you do? I mean, do you go back to school and take out another $100,000 worth of loans so that you can get another degree and
I think we've already seen the fallacy in that system.
I mean that's I mean it's really a double-edged sword there. So you can go to school and then now you're in debt for the next 20 or 30 years. So,
absolutely.
Anyway, there's so much more that you can be doing, and I just wanted to tell a little story about what's happening with me in my life and with us and how we started a few years back on our self-development. I don't want to what do we call it, like a self-development campaign or it was like
just like a self-development enlightenment, I would say, because it was less I'm not a big fan of like those self-help books. They drive me crazy.
Not a lot of people are. I mean, everybody feels like, I feel like when I talk to someone about self-development, they're always like, well, I've come a long way. I've overcome, a lot of obstacles, and I feel good. I feel, like I'm all right, and I don't really need it. So I just feel like, with the more that the economy changes, and not just that, the better that you want to be, the better that you want to develop yourself, the more of an asset you become, period, for all the people around you.
Absolutely.
So it was funny because last night I finally talked my wife into taking the Landmark Forum. Bibi, do you remember when we took the Landmark Forum?
I do, and I was one of the people that was really like, ugh, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. You had to convince me.
You hated the idea originally.
Well, because I thought it was going to be just like the other self-help books.
Yeah.
I really did think so, and I was like, "Oh my God! If it's going to be like those self-help books, I don't really want to. I don't want to do it. Like those self-help books are really cheesy sometimes."
So here's the thing. Like, yes, you're right. Those, like, when you read a self-help book, most of them say about the same thing.
Yeah.
And it's always about you getting up really, really early and doing certain things that some people don't like to do.
And it gets annoying because it's always like positive energy.
Yeah.
And the thing is,
sometimes you just wake up super grumpy and you want to be grumpy for the day.
Not for the whole day, but sometimes you just got to let that grump out, when
sometimes you just got to have a rant on your own show.
I can't help it if my genetics make me grumpy.
It's the mustache, man. I was telling my wife about why it was so important to go to this, and I started kind of doing this just because I felt like I needed to improve myself in order to help others, right? So I feel like when we're out there helping people, and who do we help as a brokerage? Well, we help
our agents.
We help our agents.
Yeah, so we want to go learn what's going to make
the
most money for them.
But that's the thing. Like, it's not just about, go out and speak to more clients. It's not going out there and collecting more buyer reps or putting properties under contract or whatever it is that whatever ways you measure your client or your agent success. It's not about that. It's also about the way that you think, the way that you feel, and overcoming obstacles in life, because as you develop as a person, you end up providing a better service to anyone that you're working with, right?
Yeah.
So we started because we wanted to go and figure out how to properly communicate, not only with each other, but with our agents. And we went to this group called Landmark, and they do a forum, and it's like a 3-day event. And
it's brutal.
And it's absolutely brutal.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah.
And it's not brutal in the sense that they beat you up. Brutal.
Yeah.
It's brutal in the sense that it's mentally taxing.
Yeah.
It's 3 days, 12 hours a day, and if you do the advanced course, it's 14 hours a day.
Yeah.
And you're mentally exhausted.
So what's the point behind this? I haven't been. I heard you guys talk about it, but so what's the main objective? What's the...
Well, look, I'll say this. There's a lot of people who show up to these things who have immediate problems that they know that they want solved.
Yeah.
And as you start to hear those people's problems, and the coaches up there, they're very talented. They know what they're doing. And when you hear those people's problems, they start to relate them in a way that makes sense to you on your small problems. So yeah, I may not have as big as problems, and you'll hear some crazy things. If you go to the Landmark Forum, I mean, you'll hear about murder, rape, everything that you can think of.
Things that people have to deal with on an everyday basis to overcome.
Yeah, and you'd be
keep
surprised
those things from holding them back.
What kind of skeletons are in people's closets?
Yeah.
But when you go there, and you may not have those skeletons, and like we didn't. And so like day one, you hear all those things. You're like, whoa. Maybe this is not for me. These people are really messed up, and I'm not. But then you start to see where you can use a lot of that coaching strategy that they're giving you, and how you can apply that to your own life. And in a lot of ways, like if you struggle with anger, or if you just struggle with frustration, you get frustrated really easily with
anxiety,
people.
depression.
It really does help you a lot. But the thing is, you almost have to keep yourself refreshed on it, because you leave there and then you have about an 8-week period where you're really good on it and you're doing great, and then you start to go back into your old habits.
Okay, so that brings me to my next point. So earlier this year, you guys know, if you follow me on Facebook, that I spent a weekend over in Nashville with my good friend Mark Demas, another broker here in town. And we went out and we hung out with, and I'm sure you guys may know this guy, his name is Dave Ramsey. He is a host of the Dave Ramsey Show and serial entrepreneur, author, you name it, amazing guy. I've read his books, love the guy, right? So we got a chance to spend a weekend with him, listening to him, and I was sitting in a table, and I didn't realize I'm usually, so most of the time I'm spoiled. I'm usually in a table where I feel like I'm on top of my game. I'm doing things right. I have good thoughts and things to contribute. I'm sitting in a table with people who are multi millionaires netting that amount, and I'm like, wow, this is cool, and I start realizing as the conversation goes that these guys are dropping at least 10% of their income to self-development. They're paying people like Tony Robbins $5,000 to $15,000 to go out and just hang out with him for a weekend. They're going to Dave Ramsey's deal, which is several $1,000s as well. They're going out to things like Landmark. They're going, reading. They're doing the automobile MBA. They're always working on self-development at all times. And it dawned on me, it wasn't just me that wanted to be that wanted to do that. It was everyone else who's actually working in the same direction. It's about overcoming these obstacles, these fears, these issues that hold you back. But the thing is, you're right. You go there, you take a class, you're there for 3 days or whatever, however long it is, and then it lasts you for 6 to 8 months, and then you're back to your old habits.
Oh, I wouldn't even say it lasts that long.
Yeah.
I think it lasts 6 to 8 weeks.
So how do you continuously find a way to stay positive? How do you continuously find a way to grow? Well, it's inputting those positive attitudes, those positive changes in, so that you can then share them with others.
Yeah, I've always kind of heard that willpower and motivation is something that's exhaustible. Basically, it's kind of like a resource that you can use up.
Yeah.
So it makes sense that every so often you would need to put in more positive inputs and continue to self-develop. And I don't think a lot of people really take the time to put that into themselves and invest in themselves.
I feel like you have to invest in motivation. And I'll tell you what, I've learned on the brokerage end of the business, and me trying to motivate others is usually just a deed that goes unnoticed. Nobody ever really realizes it or takes any of that or capitalizes on it. I realize that people need to be motivated, and this is me speaking from experience, and you guys feel free to correct me if you want. I realized that people that are motivated intrinsically, meaning it comes from within. If they are not motivated on their own, it's very hard for someone outside of that to motivate them.
Yeah, I agree with you, and I'll tell you why on the other side of the break, because I know we have to go to break here. But I agree with what you're saying, that motivation, that fire, it's got to come from within.
Yeah, but you know what? Sometimes you got to pay a little bit for it. So we'll continue talking about that here in just a minute. We're going to take a quick commercial break. When we get right back, we'll finish this off and then talk about brokerage repositioning, which you definitely want to listen to.
Hi, this is Manuel Mata, chairman of the Houston Alumni Network of Sigma Lambda Beta, and I'd like to personally invite you to our annual teen gift drive, benefiting Navidad en el Barrio on Friday, December 9th at Lucky's Pub in downtown from 6 to 9. Join us for a night of networking, fun, and giving back to our community as we collect gifts for some very deserving Houston area teens. Remember, December 9th, Lucky's Pub downtown on San Emanuel, and I'll see you there.
Hey everyone, this is David over at White Picket Realty, and I wanted to tell you about my friends over at Plans Express, who can save you the headache of running your own permits. These guys are committed to offering a one-stop solution for all your plan and permit needs. They're proudly serving their friends and neighbors in the Houston surrounding areas, and they offer great service at an exceptional value. With dedicated professionals ready to serve, contact them today at 832-675-6217.
What do you love about White Picket?
I love that we work together as a team.
I love being professional while having fun.
I love the innovative approach we take every day.
I love the support we get to grow our business.
We love White Picket.
And I love empowering the next generation of realtors to live life by their own design. If you're looking to grow, come grow with us. Email join@teamwpr.com. Again, that's join@teamwpr.com.
Stop searching and start staying in the know with our Houston Real Estate Events page on Facebook. Follow us by searching at Houston Real Estate Events to stay up to date on the latest events for real estate in the Houston area. If you're interested in having your event on our page, please email me at david@whitepicketrealty.com. Again, that's david@whitepicketrealty.com. Non-paid events only. One more time, find us on Facebook at Houston Real Estate Events, and we'll see y'all at the next one.
And we are back on Realty Ruckus. Remember that you can live tweet us at Realty Ruckus. You can also find us live on Facebook and YouTube, where if you comment, we'll chat with you live on the air. We have our host, Alan Hernandez, co-producer David Bonilla, and I am Gibran Hernandez. Now, right now, we're having a discussion about self-help and self-development and how that affects you and whether you should spend money on it or not. I know there's a lot of people who say it's not worth it, and then there's people who they basically live by that. So we're talking about that discussion.
You know what's crazy is I already have budgeted for next year to spend a really good amount of money just on self-help. And I don't want to throw a number out there, but I can definitely tell you it's in the high thousands. And I say that because when I spent that amount this year, I felt that it was completely worth the expense. It wasn't an expense. It was an investment in yourself. So,
yeah, and I the thing is, you don't have to spend a fortune to get going. I mean, for those of you who are like, well, I've never spent money on any of those classes, start off by going to like Dave Ramsey's Smart Conference.
Yes, that's a great one.
That's a 2-day conference. It'll cost you roughly $30. Yep. There's several hundred people who go. They host it at local churches so that they don't have to pay a fortune for the venue, and you'll learn a lot about financial management.
Yep.
And even if you think you're great at managing your finances, it never hurts to go and hear what these guys have to say, because Chris Hogan is incredibly smart. Dave Ramsey is incredibly smart.
Both business
and
owners.
They both provide really good advice. And for $30, you just can't beat that.
That's absolutely right. So yeah, there's definitely ways for you to get started without spending a ton of money. And then from there, you find other avenues and other places that you get a chance to learn.
Yeah, and if you really give it your all, you'll meet people and they'll start to suggest to you other things. Like, hey, I went to this and it was helpful, or I went to this other one and it sucked, it was terrible. And you start to hear those reviews, you really do.
You know what I noticed? In all of the ones that I went to this year, I started finding a few key people that were also going to those.
Yeah.
And after digging up who they were and what they were doing in normal life, phenomenal people. Just phenomenal entrepreneurs doing great things, large businesses. It was great to see that.
Yeah, but I will say this, and this is something Dave Ramsey says at his conferences: don't become the person that only shows up to those conferences and is like, yeah, this conference is awesome, and then goes to another one 2 weeks later, and then 2 weeks later, but never applies any of those things to their life.
Well, and that's the problem with a lot of learning. If you know you're that type of person, you have to fight. You have to struggle against that, because if you go and you learn and you don't take action, it's like anything else. It's like, that applies to anything in the industry, or really anything in this world. If you are the type of person that hesitates on taking action on anything that you learn, it's pointless. So maybe that's the first thing you have to overcome and find ways to do it. But definitely look into that. Definitely look into the Landmark Forum. We've had a lot of growth, great success from there.
Yeah, and if you're out there and if you've done a self-help and you can recommend it to our listeners, go ahead and comment and let us know what is the different self-help development that you're doing, even if it's your driving MBA.
Yeah,
we want to hear about it.
What books do you listen to? What things do you apply every day? There's so much out there, so much help for everyone that we definitely want to know about it. Now, we're running out of time, so we got to talk a little bit about brokerage repositioning. What's happening with brokerages out there? What's happening with companies that are in real estate?
Big, massive companies.
And the changes that they're making. And I got to tell you, so when I was on the show, the Rat Pack show this weekend, I had a chance to meet with another broker, and this broker is developing an app. That is going to revolutionize real estate. Now, I feel like everyone right now is chasing the Airbnb and Uber technology, right?
Correct.
But what they want to do is bring that technology to real estate. And you have companies already that have already kind of somewhat started that trend. We have companies like Open Door, who you can literally go visit any of their properties. They'll make you a cash offer. They'll buy the property from you. They just went public, raised a ton of money, and
Correct.
And they're getting to the point where if you want to buy or sell a house with them, it's a completely different experience, and they're changing the way the model works.
Yeah, and when you look at companies like right now, Remax, if you're not familiar with Remax, so they started way back in the late 70s, before fax machines were even common.
Yeah.
I mean, back then fax machines were rare. Imagine that. The internet didn't exist. And what they did is they decided to start a model where they were going to sell regions. And they split up the entire United States into different regions and then sold those regions to other regional owners. And then those regional owners had the right to break down franchises into smaller regions. And Remax collected a big fee off of it. Well, now Remax is going back and they don't spend this amount of money for no reason. There's a bigger reason why they're doing this. They haven't announced it yet, but it has more to do than with them just wanting to buy back those regions.
Yep.
But they've spent over $100 million so far buying back regions, buying back territories.
All they're doing is buying back the rights to those regions.
Exactly. So the franchise owners still own their franchises, but the people that own the rights to those regions are giving their rights back to Remax. And when you look at it, it has a lot to do with the fact that Remax collects the vast majority of its fees from just hanging licenses.
Yep. 42% actually.
42% of their revenue comes from hanging licenses, from the fees that they're collecting on hanging licenses, not from the deals people are doing, just straight from fees.
That makes a whole lot of sense. I can see why, and I can see why, some of the companies here in town with the most agents also have the most inactivity with agents.
Yeah.
And you take a look at someone who's hanging 100 licenses, and 20 to 30 of them will be actual active licenses.
Or some of the bigger companies, I won't mention any names, but there's brokerages here that are hanging thousands of licenses, and then you look them up and they have maybe 30 active agents out of those.
Yeah.
Everyone else is literally hanging a license.
They're just hanging the license and paying a fee, every year, the pass go fee,
That's just so crazy to me that, why, if you're going to, I don't know, it's just not worth it to me if you're going to be that type of agent, first off. And secondly, I guess it's a good business model for them. It's kind of like, those gyms that sign up all those people at the beginning of the year and they're just banking on nobody coming through, but they're getting debited every month.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. And, what we're realizing is that the model is switching. That old, I don't even know what to call it, the original model that was set up in the 70s.
Oh, yeah, it's changing dramatically, and technology is forcing it that way. And when you look at big companies, Berkshire Hathaway, with everything that they've been doing and all the brokerages that they've purchased, they've got something big in the background.
Yep. You see them selling some of their stuff. They're actually lowering some of this money that they're spending on some of their branding, pushing more and more on some of the other stuff that they have. You see, for example, I've seen a couple of broker friends of mine who have let go of the big box name brokerages and started more of a boutique brokerage, kind of like us. And I see a lot of that happening. It's not just us.
So here's what I'm seeing, and here's my question to you is, so you have companies like Uber and Airbnb, and everyone loves to talk about how amazing these companies are, how huge they are, but people forget the amount of money, the ridiculous amount of money they have spent on fighting legal fees.
Yep.
Why? Because of government regulation that they've been having to fight through, because our government and our regulations weren't created for the digital age.
That's right.
They weren't created for a technological revolution like right now. So you look at a city like Austin, where the government regulation literally pushed out the big companies like Uber and Lyft, but it started a revolution for smaller companies who do the same thing.
That's right.
So now in Austin, you have about 6 or 7 big rideshare companies now, and they're all splitting that market share. And the city of Austin even commissioned their own rideshare company, which is a nonprofit. So it's almost like you have to thank these big companies, because they're going in, they're spending this massive amount of money fighting these legal fees and to change the industry overall. And I'd be interested, I really want to see what it looks like when, like, this broker that you spoke with at the Rat Pack, what does it look like when he launches his software, and what amount of money is he going to have to spend to fight Trek to fight tar, to fight
NAR.
NAR. I mean,
All
you're
the
looking,
Rs.
yeah,
All the
all the
Rs.
R's
Yeah.
to fight HAR.
Yeah.
I mean, he's going to have to spend a fortune
Yeah.
to make it through there to pave the way for everybody else.
Yeah, and you know that's kind of the way it works. Is because you're the first, you got to pave the way, and then once you've paved the way, once you've won a couple of court cases or whatnot, then everyone else jumps on the bandwagon.
Yeah.
And
If you can be the pioneer and come out of it alive, like Uber and Airbnb,
Yeah.
you will be highly successful.
Yeah.
You'll be rich. You'll be a billionaire.
I gotta tell you the scariest thing that I got from the conversation with this broker, by the way, his name is Bobby Bryan, phenomenal guy, is that we believe the listing agent will cease to exist in the next 10 years.
I do believe so.
And that's
We've
because-
talked about that a lot.
That's because, well, you know, we talk about the fact that people will no longer need agents in the future because technology is growing at such a rapid pace, and technology also means information. It means sharing of information and accessibility to information. And really, in the real estate business, that's what it is. It's being able to provide the information that a client needs in order to sell their house or buy
Yeah.
a house.
Yep.
And when that information is so easily available that you don't need a professional, quote unquote, to give it to you, then what's the point? What's the need for the client? You know, back in the day, we weren't alive for this, but back in the day, real estate agents used to carry a book. Like it looked like a, you know, those,
Big old orange book, yeah.
yeah, this big giant book, and that's where they had listings.
Yep.
And in order for you to be able to look at that book, you had to use an agent.
Yeah, and every time you'd have a new listing, you'd go to your fax machine. You'd have to fax it into the directory, and then you'd have to download the faxes from the directory of all the new listings.
Can you imagine?
That was a completely different world.
Yeah. So imagine that book is now the internet. And in order for you to list a home here in the future, all you're going to have to do is take
Shoot
a couple pictures, click a few buttons, voila.
That's
All right?
it.
Boom.
We got to take a quick commercial break, but we're going to continue our conversation on brokers repositioning when we get back. Stay tuned.
Hi, this is Manuel Mata, chairman of the Houston Alumni Network of Sigma Lambda Beta, and I'd like to personally invite you to our annual teen gift drive benefiting Navidad en el Barrio on Friday, December 9th at Lucky's Pub in downtown from 6 to 9. Join us for a night of networking, fun, and giving back to our community as we collect gifts for some very deserving Houston area teens. Remember, December 9th, Lucky's Pub downtown on San Emanuel, and I'll see you there.
Hey everyone, this is David over at White Picket Realty, and I wanted to tell you about my friends over at Plans Express who can save you the headache of running your own permits. These guys are committed to offering a one-stop solution for all your plan and permit needs. They're proudly serving their friends and neighbors in the Houston surrounding areas, and they offer great service at an exceptional value. With dedicated professionals ready to serve, contact them today at 832-675-6217.
What do you love about White Picket?
I love that we work together as a team.
I love being professional while having fun.
I love the innovative approach we take every day.
I love the support we get to grow our business.
We love White Picket.
And I love empowering the next generation of realtors to live life by their own design. If you're looking to grow, come grow with us. Email join@teamwpr.com. Again, that's join@teamwpr.com.
Stop searching and start staying in the know with our Houston Real Estate Events page on Facebook. Follow us by searching at Houston Real Estate Events to stay up to date on the latest events for real estate in the Houston area. If you are interested in having your event on our page, please email me at david@whitepicketrealty.com. Again, that's david@whitepicketrealty.com. Non-paid events only. One more time, find us on Facebook at Houston Real Estate Events, and we'll see y'all at the next one.
And we are back on Realty Ruckus. Remember that you can live tweet us at Realty Ruckus. You can also find us live on Facebook and YouTube, where if you comment live on the air, we will chat with you during the show. Now, right now, we're having a conversation about brokerages and how they're repositioning themselves and the way that technology is changing everything. And during the break, we were talking about how can you make sure that you're staying ahead of that curve and that you don't fall behind and become the grocery store still typing in the UPC codes
Yep.
while everyone else is doing something highly
Well,
technological.
Amazon Go is letting you walk in and out with groceries and not standing in line.
Well, and it's funny, man, because I still see agents out there, and granted, a lot of them are some of the older agents in the industry. We know that 2/3 of those agents will be retiring here in the next 5 years.
That's right.
But a lot of them are still in the dark ages, basically.
I love it. So I had an agent recently send me an email and say, "Hey, what's your facsimile number?"
Yeah.
And my assistant Brandon was like, "What's a facsimile?"
I said the same thing. I got a business card when we first started. Somebody handed me a business card and it said, "Cell office facsimile."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Hey man, what's this new technology facsimile like? I never heard of that before." And you were like, "Bro, that's fax." And I was like, "Oh."
Are fax machines still out there? Do people still use them?
People still use them. The government is one of the biggest users of fax machines.
That just shows you how behind our government is. Right?
Oh yeah, our government is highly inefficient. That's not even up for discussion.
Like there's still someone there standing by the fax waiting for something to like pop out of there and read it.
Oh, I guarantee you, if you privatize things like the DMV, they would become really efficient.
Yeah.
And the DMV would make a lot of money. But it's really hard to privatize those things. And then you run into the questions whether you want to or not. I don't even want to get into that topic right now.
Let's not get into that. We know what we were talking about is switching models, people going from big name brokerages to smaller boutique brokerages. And I see that happening because of the flexibility that a small boutique brokerage offers, the ability to change with the times, the ability to mold to different strategies, formulas, technology, and you know the difference that's causing that, or the thing that's causing that, is the changing in revenue streams.
Yep.
Revenue streams will no longer be the same for a brokerage. You know, it used to be completely, you know, off the 20 or 30% off each agent that, you know, that they had. It's not like that anymore.
Well, it seems like with Remax, they make most of their fees, especially in the independently owned regions. I mean, sorry, the company owned regions, through the fees that they charge as far as an annual and monthly basis.
Well, and here's what's crazy is that I feel like they're repositioning themselves to buy back a lot of those brokerages,
Yeah.
or to do something else, because it doesn't. I know brokerages, Remax franchises that are struggling right now, a lot of them, because of their fee systems. They are having a hard time keeping up with the fee systems. And the same thing, like you look at other big names like Century 21, they're struggling too to keep up with it.
Well, you know, that kind of goes into technology and the availability for information. So before, an agent would get licensed at a local school, and then how would they find a broker? Well, they'd only find one based on someone that they knew, a recommendation, something like that. Now, it's easy to research brokerages. It's easy to drop, you know, what's the nearest brokerage near me, or you know, whatever. You know, they can do some Google searching. They can go on Facebook. There's so many other ways to find where to hang your license now. So now it's so much easier if you're a new agent to just say, well, this is what I want to do. This is what I focus on. What brokerage out there has it, and which one has the best splits or whatnot. And that's what ends up happening. So
that's so true.
So, you know, or they join, you know, the brokerage that they were referred to, and then they realize they're paying a ton of money that they don't need to be paying, and then they find another brokerage where they can spend a whole lot less. And they're always looking for that. As an agent, they're always looking for the best resources for the least amount of money. And I get that. That's just what the information that is out there readily available provides to you.
Well, I'm sure you remember these times, but there was a time where if you owned one of those franchises, you were actually zoned. So you weren't allowed to pick up listings that were not in your zone.
Yeah.
You were not allowed to represent buyers that were not buying in your zone. You had to pass them off to the other franchise. But with the emergence of MLS, now you can represent anywhere.
Yeah.
And they have to break all those barriers down.
Yeah.
So they're trying. Those models are really trying, but they're hurting.
Absolutely.
And they're hurting with the new people that are coming up. It's almost a new revolution. It really is.
And we're learning and adapting as well, you know. Obviously, we've gone through some growing pains as well with our brokerage and trying to reposition ourselves. But, you know, it's a learning process for everybody.
Oh, this is funny. One of our viewers, Nell Tatum, says, how about I had an agent who literally planned her route with a key map. Do you know those big orange key maps?
Hey, I always want, like, I hate it because when you're putting a listing into HAR, it always says, you did not enter the key map code. I'm like, I don't even own one of those. I don't even know how to find the key map code.
I haven't actually seen a key map in at least 10 years.
Oh, it's so funny because I remember using a key map 15 years ago to navigate around Houston. This is when you before even the MapQuest.
Yeah.
And then MapQuest
Before
came
you
out.
had the little GPS that you could buy for like $100 or $200.
No, first MapQuest, you go and then you print out your directions.
Exactly.
I remember that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You print out your directions from MapQuest and then you drive. And if you had to go like off route, it was like, oh God, I don't know where to go now. I'm lost.
You know how I know someone's been on the internet forever? When they give me an email at AOL.com.
Oh yeah, I know. If I had an at AOL.com.
Yeah, me too.
I had to get rid of it. I was embarrassed by it. I was like, no, I can't.
Do you guys remember logging into AOL with a little man running?
Bro, I remember like GeoCities, building your own. That was like the first build your own website.
Build your own websites on GeoCities.
HTML.
Or chat rooms. That was like what people used to do back in the day. Just get on. But first of all, it would take like 30 minutes just to log on. Wait, didn't you tell me that you found out about the AOL guy, like Uber driving or something?
Yeah, he's an Uber driver now.
The guy that actually says, you got mail.
Yeah.
You got mail.
Yeah, definitely times have changed. All right, we're coming up to the end of the show here, so we got to talk about a couple of the events that are coming up. We want to make sure that we keep you guys posted. Make sure you reserve the dates for these events because these are the events that we feel have the best value for your time and really, hopefully, no money because we try to bring you all non-paid events.
Yeah, absolutely. And for those of you who continue to post your paid events, we're going to continue to remove them.
People have been posting more of them?
Yeah.
No, I found a few. But
we get a couple of that go on there. Don't forget that you can share your events on our Houston events page on Facebook. All you have to do is look up Houston events page. We'll drop a link below, and we're happy to share your event with the world because we want your events to be well attended. And all we ask is, you do the same. Let other people know about ours and
the other events on our page as well.
Absolutely.
Share a post
and provide value. Not non-paid events only on there. It's all about providing value to people.
Yeah, and I'm okay with a small fee or entry if it's going to a charity. So if it's a kind of like a toy drive or canned good drive or $10 to get in, but it's going for sure to charity, then we're okay with that as well.
Absolutely. So we do have a couple of events this week. Golly, I got to tell you guys, my week is packed.
Oh, it's scary for me. It's so scary.
It is so scary. I did this thing last night. I don't know if you guys saw it, but I posted it on our actual White Picket Realty page. I went live for the first time out of that page. I didn't actually know you could do that. You can actually go live from your personal page, but you can go live from any other page.
Yeah, from your business page.
Yeah. Well, anyway, I figured it out last night. The light bulb finally clicked, and I went live and I talked about 5 things that you can do to beat the holiday slump. And I want to say it was like number 4 or 5 was don't let this whole event, attendance thing ruin your month. And it's so easy to let that happen this month because like if you look at our schedule this week, there's for me on Thursday, I have an event to go to for one of my clients who sends me some listings here and there. From 4 to 8, and how am I not going to attend that?
You have
this
to.
is a great client of mine, and then from 8 and over that, we're going to the Texas American Patent Law Firm party.
Yep.
Which is
hell yeah, we are.
They're great supporters, sponsors of ours, and how do we not go?
And
to
amazing
that?
partiers.
Amazing partiers, by the way, and Ashley
ain't no party like a white picket party.
The owner and attorney is also part of the show, so that's not something you can miss. But the point of it is, if you go to these events and you go to a lot of them and you forget that you still have a business to run,
you
catch yourself in a scenario where you're not making any money. So don't let that happen. Make sure that if you go there, limit your drinking. Make sure that you're still focused on closing some transactions this month and lining up a good 2017 because that's really where a lot of agents or lenders or investors or you name it fail. That's where December ends up being quote unquote a slow month for people.
I completely agree with you. I couldn't agree more with that.
So anyway, we have that one on December 8th. If you guys haven't gotten your tickets, make sure that you reach out to Texas American Title Patent Law Firm. You can check out their website, which we'll drop below, and request a ticket from them. They may still have a few tickets. If you haven't done some closings over there, it's time to give them a shot as well. The other one that we have is Toys for Teens. We always do a Toys for Tot drive. Like we always work, and I mean, several of the other events I've been to. By the way, if you guys look at my trunk, there's like a ton of toys in there from the last Toys for Tots that we did. I gotta actually go drop those off. But that's the thing. People always
It's always for little
and
kids.
collect toys for little kids, but we forget that there's a large portion of kids out there that are not in a stable home and family that would like, a little gift here and there, and they're usually in their teens.
Yep.
So
Well, even in those households, and I used to be a teacher, and so parents tend to focus themselves on buying gifts for the younger kids. They don't really focus on buying gifts for their 14, 15, 16-year-old kids. And a lot of times those are at-risk youth, at-risk teens that, little things like this, hey, I don't need to go steal that Bluetooth speaker. I got one from a toy drive, and it felt good, and I feel good about my decision,
So I went to like Ross, or I'm not sure where. It was like one of these stores here, and I picked up a Bluetooth speaker, and it was like $10 or $15.
Yeah, last year I donated some headphones. They have little earbuds. That's something that kids use a lot these days. And so we just ask that you bring kids that are not kids, that you bring toys that are targeted not for young kids, but for teens.
Yeah.
Let's not forget about that huge demographic.
And that's going to be December 9th from 6 to 9 p.m. at Lucky's Pub on San Emmanuel Street.
That's this Friday.
Yes.
This
Lucky's
Friday.
Pub, 6 to 9 p.m.
If you guys have any other events that you would like us to attend,
Well, I do have to make the announcement. We're still collecting blankets for the homeless of Houston. So if you want to bring a blanket drop it by the office.
Bring a blanket.
Bring them over here. They don't have to be brand new. If they are, that's great. As long as they are usable, we'll be donating those to the homeless. It's going to be a cold winter out there, guys. Don't forget.
Yes, guys.
There's people out there who are less fortunate, and a blanket makes a huge difference.
Feel free to stop by anytime. Just make sure you bring your blanket. Thank you guys so
No appointments
much.
without blankets.
I know, right? Thanks again for joining us today at the Realty Ruckus out of the White Picket Realty Studios. I'm your host, Alan Hernandez. Your co-producers, David Bonilla, Gibran Hernandez. We are so happy to be able to host this show for you guys today to help you grow your businesses. Keep up your ruckus, and we'll see you on Friday.
Been the Realty Ruckus. Make sure and join us every Tuesday and Friday for new episodes. Find us on YouTube and Facebook for replays of previous episodes. And as always, keep elevating yourself and keep up your ruckus. Thanks for listening. Realty Ruckus has been brought to you by Smart Pig Media Productions.